that note, our next comedian, ladies and gentlemen, the wonderfully talented Abby Denton.
No, keep going. It's called diminishing returns. Thank you all for coming out here, ladies and gentlemen, and conscientious objectors. From the bottom of my heart, I'm grateful to all of you for coming out. I'd especially like to thank an employee of my company's HR department for showing up and eliminating 50% of my set. That was a joke. Thank you for coming and eliminating 70%. No, I'm just kidding. I have plenty of material. For example, does anyone else notice how when you're streaking? Does anyone else's pubic? So I'm wearing a dress that used to belong to an ex-boyfriend of mine, which is the first anecdote I bust out whenever anyone talks about us living in a post-gender world. I'm really happy that we live in a society where people who don't feel that they fit in with any gender feel empowered to go by a gender-neutral pronoun such as they, mostly because that makes it sound like I have twice as many friends. You go, girl or otherwise. You go. So I was in the hospital for a while recently. How many of us love hospitals? You always feel great when you go in, feel worse when you go out. Well, you always feel better when you go out. You're guaranteed to feel terrible for at least a little while when you're at the hospital. This is my thesis statement. For being purveyors of agony, however, nurses are not equipped socially or mentally or emotionally to deal with extreme pain. I was on morphine for the first 2 days I was at the hospital, and then they switched me to Tylenol. But that wasn't all they did for me. That would have been just draconian. Isn't really the right word. That would have been just fucking shitty. I had to reach deep into my thesaurus there. That's what they're calling it these days. In addition to the Tylenol, they gave me some helpful advice, which was that the human brain is terrible at remembering pain. And that's true. A few months later, I don't really remember the pain that I experienced at the time, but I had a lesson for these nurses, which was that when you're in pain, your primary concern is not, will I remember this in 3 months? It is, in fact, it hurts right now, please make it stop, please give me the morphine back. But I can understand why they switched me to the Tylenol, because you don't want people developing addictions to anything. I actually ended up addicted to listening to Lou Reed's Satellite of Love. Which I swear singing along with that did make the pain go down a little. My theory is that he was so high all the time that it just seeped into his voice. Now we have this portable thing. It's a good thing, it's a good thing. I've always been an expert in the medical industry. When I was in the 2nd grade, I had a classmate whose name was Jessica. And Jessica, I'm going to use some language that you don't often hear used to describe a 7-year-old. Jessica was not a very nice person. She was on a page. But no one knew it. The teacher thought she was the best. You know exactly who I mean. I'm just going to focus on you, so you're close. You're smiling. You could not have a part of me getting fired. Thank you. And God bless you for it. But God bless you as well. person who convinced everyone that she was lovely, which she was not. She told me I was fat once. She drew a picture of me where my butt was big, presaging 10 years after. Anyway, we learned after Jessica came back that the reason she was gone was because she was sick, as usually is the case when kids leave. She was sick of the pink eye. And what we did not know at the time was that pink eye is a type of eye infection that you get when you get shit onto your face. That's just a fun little piece of medical trivia. Don't put shit on your face. This is apparently something we have to teach people. 3-year-old I can understand. Jessica was 7. But we did not know this. We did not know this. In fact, when I was 7, you know, as you do when you're 7, I was pretty sure that pink was just the color that signaled that something was good, or at least socially mandated. And so I thought to myself, if I had pink eye, maybe people would like me as much as people like Jessica. Maybe pink eye is the secret. So every time for the next couple of years I had a facial infection, I'd go to my mom and I'd say, is it pink eye? Is it pink eye? And she'd say, no, you strange little elf, no. You don't have pink eye. You punched yourself in the face. Why do you think it would be pink eye? It has nothing to do with pink eye. But anyway, health class, 7th grade, we finally learned, the teacher specifically said how you get pink eye. And then 5 years after the fact, I won the 2nd grade, so fuck you, Jessica Watkins. I should clarify, Jessica's a fictional person I made up for that bit. Jessica Watkins is in fact the name of some comedian, so really hope this ends up on YouTube. This is the first 2 lines on my set list. So you're in for a bumpy ride. Anyway, I'd like to get some ground rules down before I do any more material, which is that the worst thing you can do to a comedian is to steal her material, okay? We work for this stuff. We break our bones, we break our backs, we bust our nuts. Now, what's the expression? We try to write, work on it. So just don't do it. Just don't do it. I'm lecturing you like kids. I can't believe you have to say this in this world. Anyway, has anyone ever noticed there's 7 words you can't say on television? Obama looks like he eats great pussy. Everyone thinks it. Nobody says it. I don't know. The last taboo. But look at that guy, right? Right. You ever notice there's 130,000 words you can't say on North Korean television? No, but I love this country like a woman, in the sense that I do it from a distance and don't verbally acknowledge it because I don't want to get judged. You know how it is. Our job market ain't doing so hot right now, but the unpaid internship market is through the fucking roof, right? USA #1. I had to sell my bed. I don't know why I said that, and I don't know why you laughed. I'm not sure who I'm more disappointed in. Anyway, my grandfather, he lived through both of the depressions, died shortly after the most recent one. It's okay, he was fictional. But I'll never forget his many words of wisdom. He used to sit me on his knee and say, boy, he was blind as a bat, I should clarify. He used to sit me on his knee and say, the hardest thing about being a horse thief is half of the commute. He used to say, if you ever date a transsexual, make sure you keep it a secret lest someone judge you for being capable of affection and love. That was actually some of the more realistic piece of advice he gave me. God rest your fictional soul. He wrote a book. This is a terrible book. It was a book so bad that it made the death of the author less of a theory and more of a moral mandate. And that's why he was murdered. I'm really proud of that line. Didn't really deliver it very well, but I'm really proud of it. Can you tell? Apart from the fact that I made sure you noticed it. Did you notice it? It was really clever. Made the death of the author less of a theory and more of a moral imperative. Thank you. He passed away recently and left me his car. It was an Aston Martin, you know, the James Bond car. It had all these really cool features built in, you know, like a tack shooter and ejection seat. I was cleaning it up the other day, and I unfortunately brushed against the self-destruct button, and it immediately started smoking and binge drinking. So I had to go back on my bike, which just brought up hundreds of new bad memories. You know, when I was little, I always wanted to, I'm just going to make eye contact with you for this one. When I was little, I always wanted to join the Dykes on Bikes, but if the good Lord had intended for me to ride bicycles and have sex with women, she'd have given me a better sense of coordination. But I have a lot of memories of my time. I still wrap up. I own a box of 5,000 rubber gloves, just in case of emergencies. The rate I'm going through them, I'll need to buy a new one in 7,012 or so. So look forward to that. I practice safe sex, and I think I'm getting pretty good at it. Say it takes 10,000 hours and that's I practice safe sex, and that's why I keep getting kicked out of the bank. I finally told my partner about my schoolgirl fantasy. You know, the one where you sit alone at lunch, stress over math, and feel ashamed of your body. Does anyone else hate when you're in like a mixed sex crowd of people and someone tries to spread that urban legend that girls poop? Who the fuck's side are you on? I have some advice for you. Don't try to analyze things too hard, because romance is just like a dog, in the sense that once you take it apart to see how it works, it'll never be the same. People call me a mad scientist. I'm just giving up any vestige of seeming to have a flow here. People call me a mad scientist. And that sort of neurotypical bullshit makes me glad I invented a gun that shoots wasps. Alright, well, I guess I'm going to give you back to Mario, but I'd like to thank you all for coming out here. I'd like to especially thank the press. Do we have any press? Oh, well, fuck you guys then. Mario!